as we move on to the Eastgate, it is important to consider the origins of the Eastgate wall in order to show how the city of Chester had changed up until the point of the Civil War. So the walls at the Eastgate were constructed by the Romans and were updated and replaced in parts in the medieval period, most likely around the 1300s. It was at one point the most used way to get into the city, which highlights its importance and explains why the parliamentarians would make such an effort to get in this way, due to the fact that it was the most well-known entrance and therefore, supposedly, easier for them to get in. At the beginning of Chester's involvement in the Civil War, the Eastgate was given more strengthened defences by creating mounds out of the earth behind the walls, meaning that if the walls were attacked, they wouldn't fall completely and would instead work better to keep the opposition out of the city. Drawbridges were also put in place in the wall in order to aid the city. This was all done by the Royalists, who were adamant to keep Chester for themselves. For reasons such as the importance it had in terms of trade, mainly due to the river, and other reasons as well. The parliamentarians did take over in the end, but there were great efforts made to protect the city that can be seen in 1645 at the Eastgate. Parliamentarian forces stormed the eastern suburbs on the 20th of September that year, and made many attempts over the following days to break in through the walls. These included scaling the walls, which were unsuccessful, or using siege guns to damage the walls, an attempt which did not cause any significant damage. The lack of success with the siege guns can be attributed to a lack of care or failed defences, as well as being due to the Royalist defences made from the earth that were previously mentioned. Following on from these unsuccessful attempts, the city was blockaded as a way of taking over instead of trying to attack and storm the city, as the parliamentarians realised that they would not be able to enter despite their efforts. Following on from the Civil War, the Eastgate walls have had to be repaired a few times, and it is now one of the most well-known parts of Chester due to the Eastgate clock which sits upon its walls. The clock is one of the most photographed clocks in the world, and therefore it can be said that due to the amount of people who do visit every year, as they walk along the Eastgate they will be taught some of the city's history due to the information that is set up around the walls.